Hey y'all, Natalie Shelton here with FloMarching, and today I'm going to take you through the life of a college marching band photographer. So for those of you who don't know, in addition to my full-time job with FloMarching, I am also one of the photographers for the Syracuse University marching band. Today is game day. It is a late game day. We've got an 8 p.m. kick, so leading up to then, I'm going to take you through my process of packing my camera bag, answering a few questions, charging my gear, and then I'll see you at the game. But for now, let's get into some questions. It looks like the first question from my friend Marcus. Oh my gosh, why are you so stinking good at it? That's actually really funny because when I started, I was very bad and I didn't know what I was doing, as I'm sure most people can empathize with. So I got my first job with a drum corps in 2015, and I've been doing different jobs with different drum corps ever since then, or working with Flo. So I've worked with Phantom Regiment, I've worked with Crossman, I've worked with Carolina Crown, and then I've done a couple of weekends with Boston Crusaders and Spirit of Atlanta. Honestly, I can just say that the biggest thing for me in getting good at my job, quote unquote good at my job, is to just keep practicing, keep doing it. I can pop in some photos from my first weekend camp with Phantom Regiment if you really want to see them. They are bad, but that just goes to show that if you take what you're doing seriously and you really take time to learn and be critical about your work and let others be critical about your work in like a nice way, you'll get better. It just takes time, as with anything in life. So thank you, Marcus, for saying that I'm so stinking good at what I do, but you know, I'm under no illusion that I'm the best at what I do. There are so many talented drum corps photographers, videographers out there, and I am very thankful to call some of them my friends and learn from them on a daily basis. Next question, how'd you get started doing band media? I just kind of answered that. When it comes to how I got started with the SUMB, I'm actually an alumna of Syracuse University. So once I was done with college and I was looking for something fun to do to keep myself in the activity, I reached out to the director of the SUMB and said, hey, I asked if he would be interested in me coming out to a game or two to take some photos of the band in exchange for a pass to get on the field. He didn't know who I was. I didn't really know who he was because he was a new band director at the university, so we were just kind of feeling it out. And I went to one game. I gave them my photos. They liked my photos, and the next year I was asked to come on full-time. Well, full-time, be at every single game. Best advice, if you're looking to get into band media of any kind, just don't be afraid to reach out to people. If you want to get specifically into drum corps, I recommend joining the drum corps media Discord. You can get plugged into that through reaching out to Tony McCracken or Josh Clements. They are kind of the ones who spearhead all of that. Next question, how different is it shooting for college band compared to DCI? Well, I can only speak to Syracuse specifically, but at SU, everyone's kind of just there for the vibes. It's not at the level that you would see at like Ohio State or Alabama, anything like that. But you know, we're kind of just there to have fun. You can see that in the shows that we perform, and drum corps, obviously you're there to do a job. It's not at the same level in terms of competitiveness or intensity, but you know, I think that there's a time and place for both, and I think both are really important because not everybody is looking for a drum corps experience. Not everyone is looking for a high intensity experience. Some people are just there to have fun, make friends, perform. And that's really essential, I think, to have options so performers can get what they want out of it. Next question, camera bag essentials. I feel very passionately about this. So for me, my essentials are, I just packed it. An external battery for your phone and a cord. Essential number 2, snacks. I'm a big fan of small portable things like Cliff Bars, Go-Go Squeeze, small packs of like trail mix, something that gives you some carbs, some sugar, and some protein. I get really hangry, so snacks are essential. Water bottle, you don't need to say anything more about that. Having a bottle of Advil, aspirin, what have you, is essential. And also ear protection. It is loud around a marching band, drum corps, drumline, what have you, and protecting your ears is important. You don't want to grow up to have tinnitus, so earplugs are a mandatory essential. Everyone should have earplugs with them if they are making media for drum corps. Next question, where will my photos go? How much is asked of me to do, and what events do you cover? So this will vary, obviously, depending on the program you're working with, how many photographers, videographers you have in your team. For me, my photos go a couple different places. They will go Instagram, Twitter, Facebook for the SUMB. Sometimes my photos will make it into print, so they'll print out my photos in the context of like a recruiting flyer. How much is asked of me? Once again, that will vary depending on your program, but for me, my ask pretty much is to be there 2 hours before kickoff to document the quad show, which is like a pre-game performance on the quad at SU. And then obviously during the game, and then afterwards, the ask is, upload your photos, and that's it. What events do you cover? For me, I cover home games, and if we make it to a bowl game, I will likely be asked to go to that as well. Next question. Favorite high school / college show site? Is there a random high school you vividly remember? Obviously, I love the Carrier Dome, or I guess the artist formerly known as the Carrier Dome. It has now been renamed to the JMA Wireless Dome, which, fine. I have so many memories as a college kid there, and it's just really special to be on the other side of it, working with the marching band. I think the first thing that popped into my head for DCI would be, I really liked being on the field at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the new one. That whole site is really, really cool. You've got a domed roof that has like clear panels in it, so you really get some interesting light in there. I feel like that's kind of a stock answer to say a huge stadium like the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but it is what it is. I also really liked the Colorado Stadium I went to this summer for drum corps. The whole surrounding area is absolutely beautiful, and the views are just immaculate. The stadium is so pretty and huge. Oh my God. The Carrier Dome is very small compared to like actual good football school stadiums. So yeah. That one is great. And then high school, there used to be a small drum corps show in Rome, New York. They stopped doing it a couple of years ago, but I really like that stadium and that show experience, mostly because those of you who've been there know, but there isn't really a place for corps to warm up. So you're basically just finding space in the street or in people's front lawns and just warming up there, and people will like bring out lawn chairs and sit in their front yard and just listen to the horn line or whatever warm up. And it was like an extremely strange experience, but also really cool. What do you find rewarding about the work you're doing? Oh man, I've gotten so many messages from parents saying, thank you for showing my kid on the Facebook page. It's great seeing them smile and knowing that they're doing okay and stuff like that. Like that sort of interaction with parents and with family members is just so heartwarming to me. So the fact that I know that my work is doing some good and making people feel happy is it's everything to me. And that's why I keep doing both my job with drum corps and outside of it, and giving them memories to look back on it's heartwarming for me. That is all of the questions that I have. My camera bag is not really packed, but I've got a lot of nice things charging here. I've kind of got a smattering of things in my camera bag, so I'm just going to let my stuff charge, get my camera bag all packed up once everything is charged, and then I will see you on campus. Game day for me starts 2 hours before kickoff, so that means getting on campus and getting ready to photograph the quad show, which is a pregame performance that happens on the quad. As you can see from today, it was extremely cold and rainy, which made the quad show actually be an abbreviated quad show. Instead of about an hour's worth of a performance between the horn line, the color guard, and the drum line, we only had about 20 minutes. So as you can see, the members are making their way up the steps of Hendricks Chapel to get ready to begin our performance. And as always, we start every single quad show with the band playing the fight song. Something that I really love about working with the SUMB is that every student who participates is so much fun, and the sections do their own rituals and have their own dance moves and hand signs and ways that they go about making the games fun. So as you can see, one of the things that the flutes do during Give Me All Your Lovin' is a hair flip that gets really intense, and it's also one of my favorite things to photograph. After we have played the alma mater, we do this thing called March Around, where we go from the quad down underneath into the Carrier Dome to get ready for our pregame performance. As you can see here, we walk through campus and do some more traditions. This one is kind of a chant. That's one part of the SUMB that I really love, is that we continue to have fun throughout every single game day, whether we're winning or losing, because at the end of the day, the band never loses. A huge machine that can't be beat. There's nothing finer in the land. Than Syracuse, marching band. Right on. Right on. Right on. Right on. Don't hit the bus. Right on. Take it easy, guys. Yeah, I didn't say that. Once we have made it underneath the Carrier Dome, we wait for the signal for our start to run on, and then we perform our pregame performance.
second down and 6 from the 22-yard line of Syracuse.
We're simply not going to talk about it. Okay? Cool. So the game is over, and now it is time to edit the photos. So I will take you through the process of how I go about editing and give you a little insight into my workflow. So first step, taking everything that was on your memory card and dumping it onto a hard drive. I'm gonna open up my memory card and then my hard drive, and I'm going to make a new folder. And then I'm just going to simply take all of my photos, drag them into the folder. You can see that I took 244 photos. That's actually kind of on the small side. And as you can see, it's going to take a hot second for all 12 gigs of these photos to be dumped onto my hard drive. So in the meantime, we're gonna wait. Okay, so now with all of the photos on my hard drive, I'm going to go ahead and open up Lightroom. Lightroom is the program that I use to edit my photos. It's kind of a photography standard. I prefer doing heavy edits in Photoshop and then throwing them into Lightroom, but for stuff like this where I don't have to do retouching and removing people from backgrounds and what have you, Lightroom is pretty comprehensive. Everything is nice and loaded, and hello, my cat. I'm gonna go ahead and import the photos. So you can see that they automatically all pop up as checked, which is exactly what we want. We're gonna click import, and then we're going to let the photos then we're gonna let the photos get loaded into Lightroom. Once again, a whole process of hurry up and wait. So everything is now loaded up in Lightroom, and we can start culling. Culling is where you go through the photos and pick out ones that are good and that are not so good. For me, my first cull involves getting rid of everything that's blurry, that's out of focus, that can't be cropped or manipulated in some way to make for a photo that I think is a good one. So with that said, I'm gonna go through these photos and do my first cull and get a sense of how many photos from there I'm working with, and then we'll go from there. So now that I have gone through all of my photos and I picked out the ones that I like, I'm going to adjust these colors to fit my personal editing style. Go into develop and then click settings, paste. This looks pretty good. But not every photo that you take is going to be usable directly from pasting your settings. You might have to adjust a couple things based on the time of day, the skin tone of the performer that you have in frame, a whole bunch of other factors. So while you can rely on your preset to get you about 75% of the way, you're still gonna need to do a little bit of legwork to make it look good from that point. But we've got a pretty good base right there. As you can see, I just dragged up the exposure a little bit to help give the photo a bit more light. You can see the difference right there. It's a little bit dark, but not too bad. And just dragging this middle bar exposure up, I think it looks pretty nice. And then from there, we're maybe just going to crop in a little bit to make her the center of attention. And just adjust this until we like the framing. I like the flag though, so let's move this down a little bit. And there you go. You've got your first photo. Then you just copy and repeat this process for 200 more or whatever. So that's what I'm gonna do right now.
Many hours later.
So I have successfully edited all of my photos. They are now looking nice and pretty, and I am happy with the way that they look. So the only thing left to do is to upload them, and then I am officially done with my weekend of work. So I hope you enjoyed tagging along with me and going through a game day in the life of a college marching band photographer. Be sure to stay tuned to FloMarching, because hopefully with bowl season coming up, maybe we'll get some more really cool game day in the life videos from some teams as they go to a bowl game. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!